Golf is not a game of perfect. It's a game of patience. Introduction, the myth of perfection. Welcome to Golf is not a game of perfect. It's a game of patience. I'm your guide on this journey, and together, we're going to unravel a secret that the best golfers in the world, like those mentored by Dr. Bob Rotella, have known for years. Golf isn't about hitting every fairway, sticking every iron, or draining every putt. It's not a game of perfection. It's a game of patience. Patience with the course, with your swing, and most of all, with yourself. If you've ever stood over a 3-footer, heart pounding, whispering, "Don't miss this," only to watch it slide by, you've felt the sting of chasing perfection. Golf dangles that carrot in front of us, the pure drive, the flagstick rattling approach. But the moment we grab for it, it slips away. The greats don't fall for that trap. They play the long game, trusting the process over the prize. In this audiobook, we'll explore their stories, dig into cutting-edge data from tools like DECADE Golf and UpGame, and learn how patience can transform your game, and maybe even how you see the world. So settle in, grab your clubs, or just your imagination, and let's tee off. Chapter 1. The Patience of the Pros. Let's kick things off with a tale from the 1992 U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. Tom Kite, a grinder's grinder, was 42 years old, a veteran with 19 PGA Tour wins, but no majors. He'd come close in the U.S. Open before, 13 times in fact, but never hoisted the trophy. That week, the wind was a beast, turning Pebble into a monster. Kite's game wasn't perfect. He missed fairways, tangled with bunkers, and even made bogeys. But he didn't flinch. He chipped close when he missed greens, lagged putts to tap-in range, and waited out the chaos as others, like a young Nick Faldo, faltered. On Sunday, he shot a steady 71 to win by 2. Kite didn't dominate with flawless golf. He won with patience. Fast forward to today, and the numbers tell the same story. DECADE Golf, a system built by Scott Fawcett, crunches data from thousands of pro rounds. What does it reveal? Even the top players hit the fairway only about 60 to 65% of the time. From 150 yards, they stick it inside 20 feet less than half the time, about 45%, per ShotLink stats. And on the greens, the best putters make 50% of their 10-footers, meaning they miss half. Perfection isn't the norm, it's the exception. What separates the Kites of the world is their ability to stay patient when the shots don't sing, trusting that one good break, one smart play, can turn the tide. Take Jordan Spieth, another Rotella favorite. In 2015, at the Masters, he was 21 and chasing history. He didn't play a perfect round on Sunday, bogeys crept in, but he stayed cool. On the 18th, needing par to win, he laid up from a tricky spot instead of firing at the pin. A wedge, a 2-putt, and the green jacket was his. Patience, not heroics, sealed it. DECADE Golf data underlines this. Pros hit the fairway just 60 to 65% of the time. And from 150 yards, they're inside 20 feet less than half the time. Patience, sticking to the plan when shots go sideways, is what turns good rounds into great ones. Chapter 2. The Weekend Warriors Trap. Now let's shift to us, the weekend warriors, the 9-to-5ers who live for Saturday tee times. We're not pros, but we've all tasted that drug called perfection. You know the shot, the driver you pipe 280 down the pipe, leaving your buddies speechless. It's intoxicating, right? But here's the problem. It's a mirage. I've got a friend, Dave, a 15 handicap with a swing like a rusty gate. One day at our local Muni, he crushed his opening drive. Straight, long, perfect. "I'm dialed in," he crowed. Hole 2, a snap hook into the woods, a hacked-out 5-iron, and a 4-putt. Dave spent the next 3 hours swinging harder, chasing that first shot. He finished with a 96 and a headache. Sound familiar? We've all been Dave, seduced by perfection, only to crash when it fades. UpGame, a golf app that tracks your stats, would have shown Dave the truth. For mid-handicappers, the real damage isn't the occasional mishit, it's the impatience that follows. UpGame's strokes gain data from thousands of amateur rounds shows that blow-up holes, double bogey or worse, account for 6 to 8 lost strokes per round for a 15 handicap. Where do they come from? Not the drive in the trees, but the next shot. The impatient, I'll thread this through a 6-inch gap attempt instead of punching out. Decade Golf's mantra, play to your dispersion, echoes here. Your 7-iron's scatter pattern isn't tight like a pro's. Accept it, plan for it, and be patient. Dave could have chipped back to the fairway, wedged on, and saved 3 strokes. Instead, he raged against reality. Chapter 4. Tiger's Patient Rise. If there's one name that screams golf perfection, it's Tiger Woods. That 1997 Masters, where he won by 12 shots at age 21, looks like a clinic in flawless play. But dig into that week, and you'll see patience was the real star. Tiger didn't start with a bang. He bogeyed 2 of his first 9 holes on Thursday. The old Augusta National was a beast, with tight fairways and slick greens. Most young guns would have pressed, swinging harder to force birdies. Not Tiger. He settled in, leaned on his iron play, and waited. By Saturday, he was dropping bombs. 63, a course record, but it wasn't reckless. He picked spots, trusted his caddy's reads, and let the course come to him. Decade Golf's approach would have loved Tiger's strategy. Scott Fawcett's system preaches aggressive conservatism. Attack when the odds favor you, preserve when they don't. Tiger's dispersion stats that week were elite, hitting 75% of fairways and 80% of greens. But he still missed shots. When he did, he chipped close, scrambling 70% of the time, per historical data, and moved on. That patience built a lead so big, Sunday was a victory lap. For us, Tiger's lesson isn't his swing, it's his mindset. Next time you bogey early, don't chase. Pick a target, trust your routine, and let the round unfold. UpGame shows that amateurs who avoid compounding errors after a bogey save 2 to 3 strokes per round. Tiger didn't build Rome in a day, he built it hole by hole. Chapter 5. Patience Under Pressure. Here's where patience earns its stripes, the clutch moments. You're on 18, 1 par from breaking 80 for the first time, and the nerves hit. Your hands shake, your brain screams, "Don't screw this up." That's when impatience creeps in, rushing your backswing, forcing a hero shot, and the wheels fall off. Let's go back to Brooks Koepka at the 2023 PGA Championship. Tied for the lead on Sunday, he faced the 16th, a beastly par 3. His tee shot drifted right into a bunker. 5 years earlier, he might have gone for the miracle flop and risked a snowman. But this Koepka exhaled, splashed out to 15 feet, and 2-putted for bogey. He parred out and won by 2. Decade's course management would love that. Koepka played the odds, not the ego. Data shows pros bogey 15 to 20% of holes in majors and still win. Why? They don't panic. Now, a personal story. I once played a club championship down to the wire on the last hole. I needed par to tie. My drive found rough, 170 yards out, pin tucked behind a bunker. The old me would have grabbed a 6-iron, swung for the stars, and prayed. But I'd been reading Rotella, so I took a 7-iron, aimed 20 feet left of the flag, and trusted it. Landed safe, chipped to 5 feet, made the putt. I didn't win, but I tied and learned. UpGame stats from that round showed I gained 1.2 strokes by avoiding trouble. Patience under fire paid off. Next time you're sweating a big shot, slow down. Pick a smart target, stick to your routine. Decade data proves that pros who maintain consistent tempo on pressure shots gain 1 to 2 strokes per round over those who rush. Patience isn't weakness, it's steel. Chapter 6. Tiger's Patient. Comeback Tiger's career isn't just a story of dominance. It's a saga of patience through pain. By 2017, after back surgeries and personal storms, he was a shadow of himself. Ranked 1,199th in the world, he couldn't walk 18 holes without wincing. The golf world wrote him off. Tiger's done, but Tiger wasn't. He didn't rush back with a half-baked swing or force a return to prove doubters wrong. He rebuilt, slowly, chipping drills in his backyard, short iron sessions, months of rehab. He waited until his body and game were ready. The payoff? The 2019 Masters. At 43, he trailed by 2 on Sunday morning. The leaders, Molinaris and Finaus, cracked, dumping shots in Rays Creek at 12. Tiger didn't pounce with wild aggression. He laid up on 13, wedged close on 15, and parred out with ice in his veins. Decade stats would spotlight his strokes gained approach that day. 1.8 per round, methodical and precise. He won by 1, his 15th major. Not with the fireworks of 97, but with the patience of a man who learned to endure. UpGame data echoes this for us. Players who practice short game after a layoff cut their scores by 4 to 5 strokes within 5 rounds. Tiger's comeback wasn't overnight. It was years of quiet, patient work. Next time you're rusty, don't swing for the fences. Build back, one chip at a time. Chapter 7. Jack's Patient Mastery. Jack Nicklaus, the Golden Bear, holds 18 majors, a record that stood for decades. His nickname evokes power, but his game was built on patience. Take the 1975 Masters. At 35, Jack was in his prime, but he trailed Tom Weiskopf and Johnny Miller by 7 shots after round 1. The leaderboard was a shootout, birdies flying, galleries roaring. Jack didn't blink. He shot a steady 68 on Friday, grinding fairways and greens, while others chased pins and imploded. By Sunday, he was in the hunt. On 16, the par 3, he rolled in a 40-footer to take the lead. Patience rewarded with precision. He won by 1, his 5th green jacket. Nicklaus lived decades' principles before they existed. His career fairway hit rate hovered around 70%, but he rarely went for broke. From 150 to 200 yards, ShotLink era data, modeled on his era, suggests he'd hit greens 65 to 70% of the time. Not perfect, but consistent. When he missed, he scrambled like a wizard, up and down 60% of the time in majors. Jack once said, "I never beat a course, I just outlasted it." That's patience talking. For you, Jack's lesson is simple. Don't force the issue. UpGame shows that mid-handicappers who aim for the fat of the green, not the flag, gain 1 to 2 strokes per round in strokes gained approach. Play your game, not the leaderboards. Chapter 8. The patience to bounce back golf isn't just about surviving pressure, it's about surviving failure. We all have those days. The shanks after the shanks, the rounds where you wonder why you even play. Patience here isn't just waiting, it's believing you'll come out the other side. Look at Nancy Lopez, a Rotella protege. In 1978, she won 5 straight LPGA events, a record. But 1979 started rocky. Missed cuts, cold putters. The press wrote her off. Lopez didn't overhaul her swing or fire her coach. She stuck to her process. Short, rhythmic swings, relentless positivity, and won 9 times that year. She later said, "I knew my game would come back if I gave it time." That's patience with a backbone. Or take a modern example, Justin Thomas. In 2021, he hit a slump. 2 wins in 3 years, ranking slipping. At the 2022 PGA Championship, he started Sunday 7 shots back. Most would have mailed it in. Thomas didn't. He birdied holes patiently, avoided big numbers, and clawed into a playoff. He won his 2nd major. Decade stats showed his strokes gained approach that week. 1.5 per round came from steady, not spectacular play. He waited out the field. For us, bouncing back might mean shaking off a 95 with a range session focused on tempo, not power. UpGame data from 10 handicappers shows that after a bad round, those who practice short game next outing cut their next score by 2 to 3 strokes. Patience heals. Chapter 9. Building your patient game. So how do you make patience your superpower? Here's a toolbox inspired by Rotella and backed by data. Own your routine. Pros like Spieth have a pre-shot ritual, same steps every time. UpGame found that amateurs with a consistent routine gain 1 to 1.5 strokes per round. Practice it until it's muscle memory. 2. Play your game. Decade's dispersion stats say your 5-iron might scatter 30 yards wide. Stop aiming at tight pins. Pick a safe spot and trust it. Pros do this 80% of the time. 3. Embrace the grind. Spend 20 minutes chipping next practice. UpGame data shows a 20 handicap can save 4 strokes a round by getting up and down twice more. 4. Laugh at the bad. Rotella loved humor. Shank one, chuckle, reset, move on. Patience thrives on perspective. Try this next round. After a bad shot, take 10 seconds to breathe before your next. Watch how it steadies you. Conclusion: the patient golfer's mindset. Golf will never bow to perfection. Tiger's bogeys, Jack's 7-shot deficits, your own topped drives, they're all part of the dance. What ties them together from kite to Koepka is patience. Decade and UpGame prove it. The game rewards those who endure, not those who dazzle every hole. So embrace the process, laugh at the shanks, trust that every step forward, however small, is enough. Thanks for joining me on Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. It's a game of patience. Now go play and wait out the magic.